What if the fastest way to get rich starts with your boss cutting your pay to zero?
Two fathers, two blueprints for life. One said, study hard, get a safe job, climb the ladder. The other said, learn how money works, then build the ladder. Which voice have you been following? I grew up with both. My poor dad worshipped degrees, stability, the steady paycheck. My rich dad never finished college but owned businesses and properties across town. Same love for family, same intelligence. Opposite money rules, opposite results. At 9, I asked rich dad to teach me. He didn't hand me a checklist. He hired me in one of his small stores for 10 cents an hour. After 3 weeks, I was angry. I wanted a raise. I wanted fair. I wanted out. That's when he gave me lesson 1. Most people let life push them around. Fear of not having money and desire for more money make their choices. Understand those emotions, or you'll work for money forever. Then he cut my pay to 0. Working for free felt outrageous until the lesson clicked. Without a paycheck to chase, I stopped watching the clock and started watching the business. Slow movers, impulse buys at the register. A comic distributor tossing damaged issues in the trash. My friend and I rescued those comics and opened a tiny after-school reading room. 10 cents for 2 hours. Money came in without a wage. Rich Dad smiled. Exactly. The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. He wasn't saying don't work. He was saying don't trade your life only for wages. Learn to spot opportunities, solve problems, and build systems that earn even when you aren't there. Poor Dad's path sounded safe. Study hard, get promoted, buy bigger when you can afford the payments. But afford the payments is the trap. Every raise triggers a new liability. Every liability devours the raise. That treadmill has a name: the rat race. Rich Dad's path starts with literacy, not luck. Understand money's language, master your emotions, and acquire or build things that put cash into your pocket. But how do you know what truly pays you and what quietly bleeds you? Here's the pivot that changes everything. In part 2, we decode a single sentence, the most misunderstood line in personal finance. The test that separates an asset from a liability, with real examples people get wrong every day.
Fastest way to get rich starts with your boss cutting your pay to 0. That happened to me, and it changed my life. The lens. What if a single 10-second test could predict whether you'll still be stuck in the rat race 10 years from now? Here it is. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. Track the cash, not the label. Watch how this plays out in real life. The poor, money in, straight to expenses, rent, food, transport, nothing left to buy assets. The middle class, money in, then upgrades that create payments. Bigger house, nicer car, nicer everything. Payments eat raises. Raises justify more payments. The treadmill speeds up. The rich, money in, assets first. Assets cover expenses. Then buy more assets. Assets feed you. Liabilities feed on you. Run the test on your own choices. Your house may be meaningful, but if every month it demands mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and pays you nothing, it's a liability. A rental is an asset only if, after vacancies, repairs, management, taxes, and financing, it still puts cash in your pocket. If the numbers work only in sunshine, it isn't a deal. Your car is useful and beautiful, and a liability. It burns cash and drops in value. A low-cost index fund that pays dividends and grows ownership? Typically an asset. A business that collapses the moment you stop showing up is a job in disguise. A business that pays when you're not there is an asset. Why does this feel controversial? Because labels lie. The bank calls your mortgage an asset for them. The card company calls your limit flexibility for them. The brochure is not your balance sheet. When in doubt, ask, after everything, taxes, fees, maintenance, time, does this put money in my pocket? If not, it isn't an asset. Full stop. Quick gut check. Name one liability you'll stop feeding this month. Drop it below. Now the trap behind the numbers: emotions. Desire whispers, "You've earned this." Fear hisses, "Buy now or miss out." That's how smart people finance liabilities and call it self-care or opportunity. Flip the script. Pay yourself first. Root a slice of every paycheck into assets before you pay the landlord, before you pay the bills. Starve the liabilities, feed the assets. The pressure will force creativity, an extra client, a call you've avoided, selling clutter that's been stealing space and energy. Start tiny. One dividend share, one automatic contribution to an index fund, one micro cash flow test, a storage rental, a small vending slot, a simple digital product. The dollar amount matters less than the pattern. Patterns compound. Keep score simply: income, expenses, assets, liabilities. Watch one number like a hawk: asset cash flow per month. When that single number covers your essentials, your job becomes a choice, not a cage. Now, about that 10-second test. It doesn't just classify stuff, it rewires your POV. You'll start seeing cash lines instead of price tags, systems instead of salaries, freedom instead of flex. But a lens without skill still misses the shot. In the next part, we'll turn this lens into results. The 4 money skills Rich Dad demanded: how to read the numbers, turn cash into more cash, create sales on demand, and keep what you make. Plus, a 90-day plan to build your first real stream. And yes, we're inching toward the bigger hook I promised: the single behavior that decides who actually escapes. Part 3. Skills to cash flow. What if the skill that makes you rich never shows up on a diploma? What if the difference between stuck and free isn't a title, but a toolkit? Don't work to earn more, work to learn more. A paycheck stops when you stop. Skills build assets that pay when you don't. Start with the language of money, accounting. You don't need to be a CPA, but you must read a simple profit and loss and a balance sheet. Learn to follow real cash, not paper profit. Count everything: taxes, repairs, fees, vacancies, your time. When you can see the whole bill, good deals stop fooling you. Next, investing, the engine. Understand compounding, margin of safety, and why diversification keeps you in the game long enough for growth to work. Pick one lane to begin: a low-cost index fund, a tiny online business, or a modest rental. Depth beats dabbling. The goal is repeatable judgment, not lucky shots. Then, markets and sales, the ignition. Most people avoid selling. Wealthy people study it. Selling is just organized help with a price tag. Learn to state the problem, present the outcome, handle one clear objection, and ask for a decision. Sales turns ideas into income. Without it, even great assets starve. Finally, law and entities. The shield. Keep clean books. Separate business and personal money. Use the right entity so you protect yourself and legally keep more of what you earn. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep that buys freedom. Now turn the toolkit into momentum with a 90-day plan. This isn't theory, it's a sprint. Week 1, automate an investment, any amount, into a low-cost index fund. Build the muscle before the size. Week 2, launch a micro-business you can stand up fast. A simple service, a tiny digital product, a small arbitrage. Aim for your first $100 in revenue, not perfection. Week 3, add one small rentable asset that truly nets after every cost. A storage slot, a tool people borrow, a vending placement. Week 4, choose one concentrated learning sprint, a book, a course, a mentor call, and apply one idea immediately. Then cycle those 4 weeks twice more. By day 90, you won't just know more. You'll have cash flow you can measure. Watch for the 5 ambushes that trip smart people. Fear. Plan the worst case and take the smallest next step. Cynicism. Test with a tiny stake instead of collecting opinions. Laziness. Put asset time on your calendar before everything else. Bad habits. Pay yourself first automatically, so the decision is made before temptation arrives. Arrogance. Assume there's a blind spot. Ask someone tough to review your numbers. Track only what matters weekly. Revenue, net cash flow, and hours spent. Keep what pays well for low drama. Prune the rest without apology. Freedom arrives when assets buy your time back, hour by traded hour. You might be wondering, how do you aim this new engine? What does free actually look like on a page? In the next part, you'll set a freedom number that makes the goal real. Build an asset ladder you can climb one rung at a time and install one ruthless filter that protects you from shiny traps. And yes, we're still circling the bigger hook I promised at the start. The single operating rule that decides who actually escapes. We'll name it soon. Part 4. The game plan. What does freedom look like on paper? A number. Add your core monthly costs: housing, food, transport, insurance, utilities. Call it baseline X. Your first milestone isn't millionaire. It's this: asset cash flow greater than or equal to X. When assets pay the basics, your job becomes optional. Not because you quit today, but because you negotiate from strength. Now build the ladder that gets you there, one rung at a time. Rung 1, paper assets. Automate a contribution into low-cost index funds or dividend ETFs every payday. The habit matters more than the size. Rung 2, simple cash business. A tiny service or digital product that brings in weekly money with low overhead and fast feedback. Rung 3, real assets. Only buy what cash flows after everything: vacancy, repairs, taxes, management, financing. Storage units, a small rental, vending, numbers first, story second. Rung 4, systems. A business that keeps producing when you aren't there because process and people do the work. Replace yourself step by step. Guard your climb with a single filter before any deal. Will this put money in my pocket this quarter, net of taxes, fees, maintenance, vacancies, and my time? If the answer is no, or only in perfect conditions, walk. Good opportunities survive bad weather. Slice X into bite-sized targets. If X is $2,400 per month, you might stack $300 from a conservative net rental, $150 from 5 $1 per day product profits, $200 from a weekend service route, $100 from dividends you scale. Several small streams beat one brittle pipe. Play defense like a pro. Keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in reserves. Use clean books in separate accounts. Take on productive debt only when the asset's cash flow comfortably covers the payment with room to spare. If the numbers don't work at a higher rate or with a vacancy, they don't work. Run a simple weekly cadence. Measure revenue, net cash flow, and hours spent. Keep what pays well with low drama. Prune what eats time without paying you. Every month, raise one lever: price, conversion, utilization. Or cut one leak. This is how someday becomes a spreadsheet you can point to. You aren't hoping your way out. You're building out. And once X is covered, you don't stop. You double it. That's where breathing room turns into choice, and choice turns into time. There's one more piece: the operating line that locks all of this in so you don't drift back into the rat race. You felt it in every story and every step. Next, we'll say it out loud. Stitch the series together and leave you with 3 moves to make today. We opened with a question. How could getting paid zero become the first step toward freedom? You saw the answer in part 1. No paycheck forced me to stop chasing wages and start creating income without permission. Now here's the operating line that keeps you out of the rat race for good. Assets first, liabilities last, cash flow always. Root income to assets before lifestyle. Let assets buy your lifestyle. Judge every decision by one test. After everything, taxes, fees, maintenance, time. Does this put money in my pocket? If yes, grow it. If no, walk. Repeat this until your assets cover your baseline. Then keep going. Here's the whole journey in one sweep. Part 1. Break the paycheck addiction. When the wage disappears, your eyes open to systems, margins, and opportunities hiding in plain sight. Part 2. Install the lens. Assets feed you. Liabilities feed on you. Track cash, not labels, and pay yourself first. Part 3. Build the toolkit. Learn the language of cash flow, the engine of investing, the ignition of sales, and the shield of entities so you keep what you make. Part 4. Make it real. Set a freedom number, climb an asset ladder, and use a ruthless filter so only rainy day proof deals get through. Part 5. Lock it in. Assets first, liabilities last, cash flow always. Your next 3 moves: simple, immediate, non-negotiable. Set an automatic contribution today, even $5, into a low-cost index fund or dividend vehicle. The amount grows. The habit stays. Write your baseline monthly cost and slice it into small targets. Replace one slice with asset cash flow this month. $50, $100, anything real. Launch one micro cash flow test in the next 7 days. A simple service, a tiny digital product, a storage or tool rental. Something that pays you without a boss's permission. Expect resistance. Fear will say wait. Desire will say upgrade. Habit will say next month. Ignore them. Patterns beat promises. Cash flow beats opinions. Small streams, stacked and defended, turn into a river, and rivers move mountains. If this series shifted your point of view, stay with the work. Rewatch the part you need most, write the numbers you've been avoiding, and take the smallest next profitable step today. When assets pay your life, your time becomes yours again. And that's wealth no market can take. If this changed how you see money, subscribe for more like this. And if you're one of the lucky few who finish what they start, type "lucky few" in the comments so I know you made it to the end.